In this video, we are going to look at, I'm going to teach you how you can find the roots of a quadratic equation, how you can solve a quadratic equation by the method of completing squares. We shall have some background information on this thing. Let us consider x squared plus 4x plus 4. This one is one of the perfect squares we have, because this one will give us, if I try to factorize it, I will get x plus 2 squared. That one is an example of a perfect square. What about now if I have simply x squared plus 4x without this 4? How will I render that one? That one shall be just from this one up there. We can see that x squared plus 4x is equal to x plus 2 squared, then minus 4. You just have this one moving to the right hand side. And I want you to note that this x squared plus 4x is equal to x plus 2 squared minus 2 squared. And what I want you to note is that the 2 which we have here is a half of that 4, and the same value which is here is also here, and it is being squared. That is basically the backbone of completing squares. So you have this one it is not complete. So if you want to have it completed, you add on this one, that side there, that becomes complete. If you have like x squared minus 6x, if you want it to have completed, we shall have to, this one shall be x minus 3 now squared, then minus, it will be minus 3 squared. So x minus 3 squared is the same as x minus 6x plus 3 squared. So we are adding on half of this value, but when it is squared. That is the idea of completing squares. So you can see that even here, this one is this 3 is a half of this, and then the 3 squared is being written there. So upon that background, x squared minus 4x minus 21 equal to 0, we can write this one as x minus 2 squared. Now when you have x minus 2 squared, you don't get this one exactly, because this one is x squared minus 4x plus 4. So what we do to ensure that we get this one to be equal to this one, we shall have to subtract minus 4. And that minus 4 you are subtracting is 2 squared. So we just have 2, this value squared, such that you expand this one and get this. The expansion of this one is equal to this, but remember ours is x squared minus 4x. So what about this 4? We subtract it here, because this one will get us a positive 4 here, and so we are subtracting it here, so that when you have this chunk minus the 2 squared, which is 4, it will get us just x squared minus 4x. That's what we do, completing squares. So here we shall have, now that one is, this one is now taking care of x squared minus 4x. The minus 21 is still there, equal to 0. Such that now we can have x minus 2 squared minus 4 minus 21 equal to 0. X minus 2 squared minus 25 equal to 0. X minus 2 squared is equal to 25. 25 moving from the left to the right, crossing the equal signs and becoming positive. From there we shall get the square root. Get the square root on both sides. The square root of something squared, you shall, this one just gets us x minus 2, and with the right hand side we have square root of 25, it is plus or minus 5. And this means that now x alone, if x is remaining on the left hand side alone, is equal to x plus or minus 5 plus 2, such that x is equal to, we take the plus 5 plus 2, we have positive 7. Then we also get the, also x is equal to, when we take the minus 5 plus 2, and when we take the plus, we get 7. When we are taking the minus, negative 5 plus 2, that's negative 3. Therefore x is taking on the values negative 3 and then 7. That one is the solution of that by the method of completing squares. If it is not yet making sense to you, by the time you complete this video, I bet you shall be able to do something about completing squares. Let's proceed to the next example. This is example 2. Now for this we have x squared plus 2x minus 3 equal to 0. Now when you have x plus 1 squared, this is what you get. You get x squared plus 2x plus 1. But what we have here is simply x squared plus 2x, implying that x, this one here, x squared plus 2x is the same as x plus 1, the whole thing squared minus 1. So that's what we have there. This one is x plus 1 squared minus 1 squared, then minus 3. So we have a half of 2, this one here. It is just x plus a half of the coefficient of x, then minus that same coefficient of x, half of the coefficient of x squared, then minus 3. The 3 is still just maintained there, and everything now is equal to, this one is equal to 0. So we now have that x plus 1 squared minus 1 minus 3 is equal to 0. X plus 1 squared minus 4 is equal to 0. We have x plus 1 squared, the 4 will move to the right hand side, becomes negative, becomes positive, it was minus on the left. Get the square root on both sides, so that x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus 2. Now x is equal to plus or minus 2 minus 1. When we take the positive part, we have that x is equal to 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. Also, when we take the negative, x is equal to negative minus 1, which is equal to negative 3. Therefore, x is equal to negative 3 and then 1. That is what we have there. That has been example 2. Now the third part, the third question is making somehow the life difficult, but we shall handle it. This one is we need to the difference of two squares mainly works with the x squared plus bx plus c, whereby this one the coefficient of x squared is 1. But now we have here a coefficient of x squared which is 2. So what we are going to do, we shall first of all divide through by 2x by 2, so that we can have that 2x squared over 2 plus x over 2 minus 45 over 2 is equal to 0. Divide through by 4 by 2. And now this is x squared plus a half of x minus 45 over 2, everything is equal to 0. And now we can group our things. We can now write our square. This is x plus whatever you have here is a half of whatever is here. That one is what we are doing. So you just have x plus a half of whatever it is. So now that one is a half of a half. That one is 1 over 4, the one I have there. Then minus that same value, but when it is squared, then minus 45 over 2. Everything will get us a 0. This one is x plus 1 over 4 squared minus 1 over 16 minus 45 over 2 equal to 0. X plus 1 over 4, everything squared, is now equal to 1 over 16 plus 45 over 2. We are taking those constant terms to the right hand side, and when you take them there and try to add them, you'll have 361 divided by 16, and x plus 1 over 4 squared, actually get the square root of this, it is equal to now the square root of that also. That is plus or minus 19 divided by 4, and that one gets us I have some space here. We have that x alone on the left hand side is equal to plus or minus 19 over 4 minus 1 over 4. When we take the positive, the implication of that is x is equal to 19 over 4 minus 1 over 4, which is equal to 18 over 4, and 18 over 4 is the same as 9 over 2, which is equal to 4 whole numbers and a half. Then when we take the negative, we can say that also x is equal to, taking the negative 19 over 4 minus 1 over 4, such that this one is negative 19 minus 1 over 4, negative 20 over 4, which is equal to negative 5. That is what we have there. So now x is equal to negative 5 and then 4 and a half. Those are the solutions of this equation here. The equation is there and the solution is there. You can move on. This one is another example. We still need to divide through by 2. So this is 2x squared divided by 2 plus 11x over 2 plus 12 over 2 equal to 0, where we shall have x squared plus 11 over 2x plus 6 equal to 0. Then this one is x plus half of that is 11 over 4. It is just that. Then minus the same thing, 11 over 4 squared. Then plus 6 equal to 0. Yeah. X plus whatever is there. Actually, the sign which is here is also put here. If this one was minus, we could have a minus there. But it is plus, and this is also plus. And this is now x plus 11 over 4 squared minus 121 over 16 plus 6 equal to 0. We shall take everything to the right. We shall take these ones to the right, such that we have x plus 11 over 4 squared equal to, this one was negative on the left, becoming positive on the right, 121 over 16 plus 6, and everything when you add there, when you work out that, we shall have that one will get us, hold on, this one is this is a minus, that one should be minus here. 6 was positive on the left hand side, it is becoming negative on the right. And when you work out there, everything will get us 25 divided by 16, such that x plus 11 over 4 squared is equal to 25 over 16. And now when we get the square root on both sides, getting the square root on both sides, x plus 11 over 4 is equal to plus or minus 25 over, it is not 25, it is now 5 over 4. The square root of 25 over 16 is 5 over 4, such that x is equal to plus or minus 5 over 4 minus 11 over 4. When we take the positive, x is equal to 5 over 4 minus 11 over 4, which is equal to, now 5 minus 11 over 4, that one is negative 6 over 4, which is negative 3 divided by 2. So we may write it as negative 1 and a half. Also, when we take x equal to, when we take the negative here, we take the positive first, also take the negative. Taking the positive gets us this value, then taking the negative, we have negative 5 over 4 minus 11 over 4. This one is negative 16 over 4, which is equal to negative 4. Therefore, x is equal to negative 4 and then negative 1 and a half. Those are the solutions of this particular question. I hope we are getting some pattern as in how we are doing these things. That's why I'm doing some good number of examples so that you get the pattern and then you grasp the thing. Here we shall divide through by 6. 6x squared divided by 6 plus 13x still divided by 6 plus 6 divided by 6 equal to 0 divided by 6, which is still 0. That is so that we can have that the coefficient of x squared is 1. Don't do anything without first of all ensuring that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So when we do that, we remain with x squared plus 13 over 6x plus 1 equal to 0. Now we can now have x plus a half of that. It is a half of 13 over 6, which is equal to 13 over 12. So this is 13 over 12 squared. Then minus at that spot we have minus 13 over 12 squared. This one, whatever you have there, which is a half of this, is subtracted at this spot, because squaring this one will get us 13 over 12 squared. So you are going to have it twice, so you are going to subtract it. The 13 over 12 is not here, so we are subtracting it, so that at the end of expanding this, the 13 over 12 squared which comes up, we subtracted and remain with only that one. So we are adding only one there, the one is just being added. And so we have x plus 13 over 12 squared minus this one we can say maybe equal to 13 over 12 squared minus this is minus 1. X was the one was positive on the left, it is now negative on the right. When you work out everything here, 13 squared over 12, that is 169 over 44. When you subtract 1, you are going to get 25. This one is 25 divided by 144, and it is the x plus 13 over 12, everything squared is equal to 25 divided by 144. Get the square root on both sides. X plus 13 over 12 is equal to plus or minus 5 over 12, such that x, this one move to the right, is equal to plus or minus 5 over 12 minus 13 over 12. Take the positive part. There are two parts for this rule. So when we take the positive, we have that x is equal to 5 over 12 minus 13 over 12, which is equal to negative, this one is negative 8 over 12. Can cancel by 4, negative 2, and then by 4 we have a 3 there, that is negative 2 over 3. Then when we take the negative, you can say that also x is equal to negative 5 over 12 minus 13 over 12, which is equal to negative 18 over 12. This one will cancel by, it will cancel by 6, and we get negative 3. Then here by 6 we have a 2. So the solution is over this, x is now equal to negative 2 over 3, that one is negative 1 and a half. Negative 3 over 2 is the same as negative 1 and negative 1 and a half. Yes, that's what we have there. And I think those are some of the examples I've managed to get you on completing squares. Keep posted on this channel, subscribe, and keep studying. Peace. In this video, we are going to learn how we can solve quadratic equations by the method of formula. The formula, you are saying that given the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, that is the general equation of that is the general quadratic equation. So to get the value of x, the solution for the equation is given by x equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. That is the formula for ax squared plus bx plus c. So you get the value of x from the coefficients a, b, c. They are the ones which we substitute in this formula and we get the values. So when you look at the first equation which they have given us here, we have that if you try to relate this one with the ax squared plus bx plus equal to 0, you see that let me write compare ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. The implication is that a is equal to 1 because 1 times x squared, that is the x squared there. The one standing in the place of b is negative 4 because this is positive b. So this one b is equal to negative 4. Then the c, the constant, is negative 21. Now we have that x is plus, actually it is negative b plus or minus square root of, this one is supposed to be b squared minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. Now negative of b, if b is negative 4, then we are having negative of negative 4 plus or minus square root of, now our b squared, this one is negative 4 squared, that is b squared, then minus 4 times a, our a is 1, then our c is negative 21, and everything is divided by 2 times a, which a is 1, and this one is now equal to negative of negative 4, that one is just 4 plus or minus square root of, this one is negative 4 squared, that one is the same as 16, negative 4 times negative 4, that one is 16, then minus 4 times 1, that one is 4, times negative 21, this one is negative 84. That's what we have up there, divided by 2. That's what we have there. And we further have 4 plus or minus square root of 16. This one is now plus 84 divided by 2, which is further equal to, let me write this side, 4 plus or minus square root of 100 over 2. This one is 4 plus or minus square root of 100 is now that one is 10, then divide by 2. So what we are going to do here, we shall take consider the positive part of it. When we consider the positive, because we have two signs there, so take the positive, we have that x equal to 4 plus 10 over 2, which is equal to 14 over 2 equal to 7. Also x is equal to, we can now take the negative, 4 minus 10 over 2, x is equal to negative 6 over 2, x is equal to negative 3. So you first of all take the positive 4 plus 10, this one here, then take the negative 4 minus 10, which we have written there. We can now conclude and say therefore x is equal to, we have negative 3 and then 7. Those are the two values of x for this particular, which are the solutions for this question. We can compare this. A is equal to 3, B is equal to 5, C equal to negative 2. Quoting the formula, negative plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a implies that x is equal to negative b, that's negative 5 plus or minus square root of b is 5, that is 5 squared minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is negative 2. That's what we have there. Then divide by 2 times a, which is 3. So this one is equal to negative 5 plus or minus square root of 25 minus c. This one is 4 times 3, that one is 12. Then times 2, that is 20, 24. But this one is minus, so it will be minus 20, 24. Divided by, this one is 6. Everything is now equal to negative 5 plus or minus square root of, this one is now 25 minus minus, that is plus now. So this square root of 49 divided by 6, negative 5 plus or minus 7 divided by 6, that is the value of x. X is taking on two values. The first one is got by cancelling the positive in the middle there, the positive. The second one by taking the negative. So it means that x is equal to negative 5 plus 7 over 6, which is equal to 2 over 6, 1 over 3. Also, x is equal to negative 5 minus 7 over 6. This is negative 12 divided by 6, which is equal to negative 2. Therefore, x is equal to negative 2, 1 over 3. Those are the values of x. For x squared plus x minus 5 equal to 0. If I compare with the original quadratic equation, the general quadratic equation, I have that a is equal to 4, b is equal to 1, c is equal to negative 5. I quote the formula x is equal to negative b plus or minus, this one is b squared minus 4ac divided by 2 times a. And now we have that our x is equal to negative of b, that's negative 1 plus or minus square root of b, that is negative, that is 1 squared, minus 4 times the value of a, that is another 4, times the value of c, negative 5, like that. Then divide by 2 times a, which a is equal to 4, to lead us to negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared, that is 1, minus c. Now that this is minus and there's a minus here, it will get us a plus. Now we have 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 by 5, that one is 80. The whole thing divided by, this one is divided by 8. And we have negative 1 plus or minus square root of 81 divided by 8. So that x is equal to minus 1 plus or minus, that one is 9 divided by 8. So still x has two values. One will be got by getting the positive and then another by getting the negative. So we have that x is negative 1 plus 9 over 8, which is equal to 8 over 8 equal to 1. Also, x is equal to negative 1 minus 9 over 8, which is equal to negative 10 divided by 8, divisible by 2 everywhere. We have negative 5 divided by 4. And so we have that x is equal to -1 and 1/4. This is -1 1/4. Then we have the other one is 1. Those are the two values of x as per that question. Example 4, we have that 7x squared minus 9x is equal to 7x squared is equal to 9x minus 2. We shall need to first of all rearrange this equation so that it can be in conformity with the general quadratic equation. 7x squared minus 9x plus 2 is equal to 0. So we are taking all the terms from the right to the left. 9 was positive becoming negative, and x was positive becoming negative becoming positive there. Now when I compare with ax squared plus bx plus equal to 0, a is equal to 7, b is equal to -9, c is equal to 2. Now we have that x is equal to -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And if I relate this with this, I substitute those. Negative of -9 is positive 9. Negative of -9. Remember it is -b. So negative and b is -9. So here we have simply just have a 9 there. Now that is plus or minus square root of b. It is still, let me get a square bracket here. I have -9 squared minus 4 times a, which is 7, times c, which is 2, divided by 2 times a, which is 7. X is equal to 9 plus or minus square root of this one is 81 minus c. When I work out this, 4 times 7 times 2, this one is 56. Everything divided by 14. That one is 2 times 7, one is 14. So x is equal to 9 plus or minus square root of 25 divided by 14. I need to get some, I still have space down here. X is equal to 9 plus or minus, that is 5 divided by 4. So that now x is equal to, we take the plus 9 plus 5 over 4. I don't know where I'm getting the, for this one is 14. So 9 plus 5 over 14, that one is 14 over 14, which is equal to 1. And we now have x, that one is another one. Also x is equal to, we now take the minus, x is also 9 minus 5 over 14. And 9 minus 5, that one is 4, divided by 14. You can cancel by 4, by 2 we have 2, and by 2 we have 7. Therefore our x is, there is x which is 2, 7, and x which is 1. When it comes to this, we shall have to rearrange it also. 6x squared minus 11x minus 4 equal to 0. And now when I relate it with the ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, you see that a for this one is equal to 6, b is equal to negative 11, and c is equal to negative 4. So now from our formula, negative plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, we have that x is equal to negative of b, the negative of 11, negative, it is negative of negative 11. So we have that one shall give us just a positive 11. So negative of 11, negative of negative 11 is 11, plus or minus, this one is still 11 squared. Actually, you can have it as negative 11 squared, then minus 4 times the value of a6, and the value of c is negative 4. Everything is being divided by 2 times the value of a, which is 6. Now x is equal to 11 plus or minus, this is square root of 121. Because this is minus and there is a minus here, we shall have this one minus, the answer to this is negative. So we shall have a plus of 4 times 6 times 4, which will get us, I guess this one is 96, divided by, this one is 12, and this is 11 plus or minus square root of, now 121 plus 96, that one gets us 217, then divided by 12. So x is equal to 11, 17 is 7 point, if I prefer to write this one first decimal places, this is 30, this one is 7 point, actually it is not 7 but this is 14, the square root of 20, 217, yeah, it is 14.7309, then divided by 12. This one is actually, this formula you can use it for all many, even those quadratic equations without factors can be solved. That's why you can find that sometimes you may get answers like this. It is possible to get these answers when you are using this formula. When we take the positive, we have 11 plus 14.7309 divided by 12, and this will get us 25.7309 over 12, which will get us 2, this is 2.1442. Then when I take the minus, so I can say that also x is equal to 11 minus 14.7309 divided by 12, which will get us, the difference there is now, the difference is actually when I work out this I get negative 0.3109. This one minus that divided by 12, that's what I get. Therefore x is equal to negative 0.3109 and then 2.1442. Those are the values of x that we are getting here. Now when you get this value like this one, negative 0.3109, when you substitute it there, you may not get the exact values because they have been got by rounding off. They are just close, but you may not get exact because of the error which are made in the rounding which you have done. But for these others where you get like a 2/7, when you substitute it there, when you get 1, substitute it there, it is going to be exact. You are going to get the exact answers, but for this there will be some small error where you are supposed to get like this 4, you may get 3.99, or you may get 4.0 something 00, and there will be some small digits that follows the value you are going to get. Thank you for watching. Peace.